By 1995, 36-year-old street artist Shepard Fairey's experiment in phenomenology had spread through the skate and punk underground scenes and was now visible on walls, street signs, virtually any public space anywhere in the world. While Shepard was happy with the results, he was dissatisfied with the actual piece of art.
It was this real quick, sloppy, off-the-cuff deal. Then I was stuck with and terrified to change.
Shepard was unsure if his experiment would survive a redesign that would apply his artistic training, but he took the chance on a new image and looked to artists he admired for inspiration.
I'd been really into propaganda posters, stuff by Robbie Canal, political art, a woman named Barbara Kruger, also Russian constructivism, Cuban, Chinese propaganda posters, anything that was really designed to influence. So I decided that I wanted to make the image a little bit more serious, kind of like a Big Brother is watching you, with the counterculture version of that.
Like the original Andre the Giant image, Shepard once again found inspiration from an unlikely source.
I'd seen a movie called They Live, a really silly John Carpenter movie where Rowdy Roddy Piper discovers these sunglasses that, when you put them on, show that all the authoritarians, police, and all these aliens. And then when he looks at the advertisements with the glasses on, they say things like consume, watch television, obey. The obey really struck a chord with me. I simplified the Andre face, streamlined it to something that I felt would work more in sort of a propaganda style art context. And then also brought in the word obey. The word itself was very provocative and confrontational in getting people to have to confront obedience. In '95, with the new obey face, I felt like it was more of a two-way dialogue. That was a really important turning point.
America is such a consumer-driven culture where the advertising is in our lives. We are made to go, oh, okay, and eventually we submit. We submit to flat-screen TVs. Pizza we don't need to eat so we can grow out of shape. You obey. For a country that calls themselves the land of the free and the home of the brave, obey is what we do.
When it all became really real for me, it was like being in Tokyo, and then in France, Kowloon, Hong Kong, all within the span of a week. In every single city I went to, I couldn't get away from this dude. And when people would say it's just him, it was like, no, no way.
Shepard's work had found its powerful voice, and technology would provide the artist with a brand new set of tools.
Luckily, I had a friend that was really a computer whiz, and he started to teach me, and that's when I started to become viable as a graphic designer.
Shepard spent the next several years producing posters that often eclipsed any nearby advertising. With his work maturing, Shepard gained more prominence as a graphic designer.
I moved from Providence to San Diego in '96. Luckily, that was also the same time that the X Games and sort of the Mountain Dew vibe of extreme sports marketing, bro, started to really hit. I was fortunately seen as somebody that understood that world, but also was professional enough to deal with corporations. So I got hired to do work with these companies, paying reasonable amounts and taking that money and putting it into my nighttime subversive activities. In fact, I was sabotaging or liberating some of the very same companies' billboards that I was working for.
I thought it was cool seeing the posters and the stickers up in places that could probably get you arrested.
Shepard had become a double agent, working for corporations by day and subverting their advertising at night. Shepard needed reinforcements to keep both operations running, so he hired a small staff, including his future wife.
I was a screen printing bitch. I would print with Shepard, so I never really got to look at him other than like, oh, this is the guy that I'm dating, and he's going to jail a lot.
Shepard's nocturnal activities sometimes put him outside the law, and when he's not fast enough, in jail.
His policy has been, you know, if you can escape, escape, because the system sucks.
Shepard has been arrested 13 times in 6 states while bombing billboards and leaping across rooftops. He had his toughest experience, courtesy of New York's finest.
Shepard spent almost 48 hours in jail, and the problem is that he's type 1 diabetic, He's on insulin. Anytime he eats, he needs to have it. So it was just scary.
Shepard got hit by big legal bills and even bigger fists.
And all of a sudden, he just gave himself up. But the police officer that he ran from up on the top of the building, who had to run all the way to the top because there's no elevator, who's pissed, comes down and beats the shit out of him, smashing his face into the ground.
I didn't try to, like, fight my way out of a circle of cops or anything. You know, then I put my hands up, and they beat. One of the guys cut his hand punching me. He was hurt worse than I was. It was rad.
Coming up, Shepard Fairey continues to work for the man and stick it to him. Andre's posse grows even larger, and Shepard is asked to move his work from the streets into galleries and museums when Icons returns.